Hi, welcome back to Golf Training Hacks. So golf is about rotation, we all know that. So in this video, we're going to work on improving our rotation. But what I want to talk about first is how you improve movement, whether it be sports movement or any other type of movement. You have to think of your body as a system of systems that's integrated. Unlike what many anatomy books would say, that we have discrete units of movement, muscles are separate, bones are separate, at least they describe it that way. It's really not the case. Your body doesn't think about moving muscles, it thinks about creating movement solutions. So these movement systems are all interconnected. So sure, your muscles are connected. There are muscular interfaces, so muscles kind of flow into each other to create a system. But there's also a bigger system, a broader system in your body called fascia. Now fascia is a network of connective tissue that runs from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. There are superficial layers of fascia or lines of fascia. There are deep lines of fascia. And this fascia has nerves. And these nerves actually fire faster than the nerves in your muscles. So fascia is very important to movement. So when we talk about improving movement like rotation, we're talking about improving the system or the systems that create rotation. So in this video, we're going to help you improve the system that contains hip muscles, abdominals, and lower back muscles. Because hip muscles, specifically the hip flexors, can get stiff, your abdominals can get weak, and your lower back muscles can get stiff and tight. And that inhibits rotation. So in this video, let's help you get started improving that system so you can get better rotation into your golf swing. In this video, we're going to work on your hip complex. Now don't forget, we're a system of systems. So we don't want to work on just one muscle group. We want to work on several muscles at the same time that are controlling your hip function. So in this video, we're going to work on muscles in your hip flexor, which is attached to the inside of your thigh. It goes over your pelvis and attaches into your lumbar spine. We're going to work on the high thigh or the high quad. We're going to work on the side of your hip, and then we're going to work on a muscle that's in your lower back towards the side. This muscle is called the quadratus lumborum, the QL. It's attached to your hip and then up to here in your rib. We're going to work on the TFL, which is actually attached to your IT band. And then we're going to work on, as I said, the high quad and that hip flexor. So to do this, we're going to use a roller today. And we're going to start on the side of our hip. So we're going to start on the side of the hip. Want to get up on the roller, and we're going to rock across the muscle. So now when you are talking about using rollers, you don't want to roll up and down. One way to do it is to roll across the muscle. And we're really trying just to find something that might hurt. Okay, so I'm rocking across, I'm going out into the side of my hip, finding something that hurts. Now when I find a spot that might be tender, so I have one right there. Now all we want to do is breathe into it. So I'm going to take a deep breath in and let it out. In through your nose, out through your nose. And just stay on that trigger point or that sore spot and let the weight of your body just sink into it. The other way you can do it is actually just find that trigger point, tack it down by just laying on it, and then moving your leg. So we're just going to move into this position. I'm rocking across it. I'm on the side of the hip, so I'm right over here now. So you can stay on this for as long as you want. You can make a change. You don't want to be too quick. Now this is just demonstration, so I'm not really going to stay on it too long. But you got to stay on it at least 2 or 3 minutes, and it will make a change. See, I'm rocking across the side of the hip. Okay, so you can breathe, you can move your foot, or you can go across. Now let's move to the upper thigh. So to work on the upper thigh, I'm going to put the roller here, and I'm going to go from about here up into the pelvis. So I'm going to start right about there. And again, I'm going to roll across and see if there's any tender spots. So if you find a spot that is tender on that thigh, let's say that's the spot, a couple of things you can do. As we did with the hip, you can roll across it, and you got to be breathing, guys. So I'm talking, but what I should be doing is just breathing. So in through your nose, and out through your nose. You have to send neural signals that these positions that you're in are okay. That's one way. The other way is I can contract and relax. So I'll take a deep breath in, and I'll contract my quad for, let's say, 4 seconds. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, and then release the breath through my nose. And as I release, I'm releasing that contraction. So take a deep breath in, contract, 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, and release. So that's the second way you can do this. Find another spot possibly. Maybe that's a spot that hurts. It can be off to the side of your leg a little bit. So let's say that's the spot that I want to work on. You can also move your leg back and forth. So you're kind of tacking that trigger point down and moving it back and forth. Okay, so you can rock across, you can contract and relax, and you can move your leg to get some movement in that as you tack that trigger point down. Okay, next we're going to work on the QL. So the QL is a muscle right here. So I'm going to take the roller and I'm going to put it on just about where my rib starts. And I think, especially if you have some back pain, that muscle, that QL, can be very tight and very sensitive. And whenever you're doing any of these self-massage techniques, you don't want to be in too much pain. So you want to be able to use the floor and your leg to moderate the amount of pressure that you're putting on it. So as we did with the other points on our quad and our hip, you can roll across this. And you should be breathing. In through your nose, and out through your nose. Now, if you find a spot that's tender, let's say that's the spot, I'm going to take a deep breath in and release. Send the signal that this position is okay. Help your neurological system to release that trigger point, to get some pliability in there. You can go across it again. And, you know, like we did with the others, you can kind of extend your leg, bring it back, extend, and bring it back. You know, find another spot, get a little closer to that hip, go across, breathe. Let your weight of your body sink into that trigger point, or you can move. Okay, next we're going to go to the hip flexor. So your hip flexor actually, it's called a psoas, P-S-O-A-S. Attaches here, goes over your pelvic bone, and attaches into your lumbar spine. So it's a very important muscle. We really need to loosen this up because when it gets tight, it's pulling your hips forward, and that really affects your spinal alignment. And if your spinal alignment is off, with all the rotational force in the golf swing and the compressive and shearing forces, you know, misaligned spine and the golf swing is really not a good thing. You're really setting yourself up for some back pain and back injury. So we're going to take the roller, and I'm going to put it right in here, right in the plate of your pelvis. And once I'm there, I'm going to just kind of scrub back and forth a little bit. I'm going to the bottom of the pelvis, kind of where it meets the high quad. Scrub back and forth. Go towards the middle. Scrub back and forth. Now, and I'm on the top portion of the pelvis. Kind of scrub back and forth a little bit. You should be breathing, right? Breathing sends a signal that this is okay. It's going to help your neurological system release any trigger points. Now I can also pin that muscle tissue down and put some movement into my leg, back and forth. But I find that really just kind of working across it like this, it's a tough muscle to get to. Just kind of working across it really helps. You can also just stay on it and breathe. Take a deep breath in through your nose and just sink into it on the release. Okay, so that's one way to start working your hip flexor to get some more pliability into it. So there's a way to work on a system of muscles in your hips. Now, it's not only the muscles that you're working, there's a fascial connection to all your muscles that runs from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head. There are superficial layers and there are deep layers. And these fascial connective tissue really integrate all the muscle structures, the bones, the tendons, and the joints. Fascia has nerves, and these nerves actually fire faster than the nerves in your muscles. So what we were working on really is kind of like the deep line of fascia that connects really from the bottom of your feet up into your hips and into your abdomen. So it's all connected. You got to think of systems. Don't think of just muscles. So here's another basic exercise. You can use two arms and hold a band out like this. So you want to, again, screw your feet into the ground, squeeze your butt, get a good base, put your back in a neutral position, and then hold that. That's one way. But we're going to do this one with a single arm. So get a neutral spine, screw your feet into the ground, squeeze your butt, get a good base, and now you're going to hold this position out here. So now I'm resisting this, right? So I'm here, you know, again, it's your isometric contraction. You hold it as long as you want. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000. And then we can go from the other side. Again, get a neutral spine. Screw your feet into the ground. Squeeze your butt. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000. This exercise is called twisting table. It's going to help you with your upper back rotation. The idea of this exercise is that we're stabilizing our hips so that we can focus on moving your shoulders and your thoracic spine. So Cheryl's going to get in a quadruped position, and the first movement is she's going to put her hand on the back of her head, and she's going to touch elbow to elbow, and then reach her other elbow as high as she can. And that's the first version of twisting table. Now you want to keep your hips stable as you're doing this. You're really just trying to get movement in your upper back. Okay, that's great, Cheryl. Now the second one is going to be a little more difficult, where Cheryl's going to keep her arm extended. She's going to put her arm through the other arm and then raise her arm up and do the same thing. Again, your hips are stable. You don't want them rocking back and forth. So that's twisting table, two versions, and that's really designed to help you get more rotation in your upper back.